What if the story of AI in healthcare isn't about sudden breakthroughs, but a quiet, relentless evolution from rigid rules to adaptive intelligence, and now to partnership? It began decades ago, not with deep learning, but with expert systems, brittle, if thin programs that mimicked physician logic. They could flag drug interactions or suggest diagnoses, but failed the moment reality deviated from their narrow rules. Then came machine learning. Algorithms learned from data, not programmers. A radiologist labeled scans taught AI to spot tumors. A decade of EHRs trained models to predict sepsis hours before symptoms. Accuracy grew, but so did the black box problem. Why did it decide that? Trust lagged behind performance. The real shift arrived with multimodal AI, systems that fuse text, images, genomics, and real time vitals, not in silos, but as a unified patient narrative. And AI now doesn't just read a chest x ray, it cross references the radiology report, the nurse's note, and lab trends, then surfaces a reasoned insight. High probability of early pneumonia. Consider CRP test. And today, we're moving beyond prediction to collaboration. AI doesn't dictate, it drafts, proposes, and explains, while clinicians critique, refine, and decide. Surgeons rehearse with generative 3D models. Patients co create care plans with empathetic, multilingual AI guides. Even clinical trials adapt in real time, using AI to adjust dosing based on individual response. The through line? AI didn't replace doctors, it relieved them of cognitive overload, so they could reclaim what only humans do: listen deeply, weigh uncertainty, and care fiercely. This evolution isn't about smarter machines, it's about wiser healing. If this helped you see AI in healthcare not as a disruption, but as a return to medicine's deepest calling, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes technology should deepen humanity, not dilute it. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a more precise, personal, and compassionate future. What if the most life saving moment in medicine happened not in an ER, but in a quiet moment, months earlier, when an algorithm noticed what no human could see? AI is transforming early disease detection from hopeful screening to precision foresight. In oncology, deep learning models analyze low dose CT scans to spot lung nodules smaller than 6 millimeters, detecting cancer up to 11 months earlier than standard protocols, when cure rates exceed 90%. Retinal AI doesn't just find diabetic retinopathy, it flags subtle vascular changes predictive of cardiovascular events, turning eye exams into heart health windows. But it's not just imaging. NLP mines unstructured clinical notes for hidden risk, phrases like trouble finding words or family history. Uncle, early dementia, trigger cognitive decline alerts long before formal testing. Wearable integrated models track gait instability, voice tremor, or sleep fragmentation, predicting Parkinson's or Alzheimer's onset years in advance. Crucially, the best systems prioritize actionability. They don't just say high risk, they suggest next steps. Recommend HbA1c plus microalbuminuria test, or asterisk, consider neurology consult plus MOCA screening. Asterisk, and they explain why, highlighting the nodule's spiculated border, the voice's reduced pitch variability, so clinicians trust, validate, and act. In low resource settings, smartphone based tools democratize access. A 60-second retinal photo, a 30-second voice recording, or a skin lesion snapshot, analyzed on device. No internet needed. Early detection isn't just for the privileged anymore. This isn't about machines diagnosing alone. It's about giving clinicians supersight so they can intervene earlier, guide more confidently, and offer hope when it matters most. Because in medicine, time isn't just money, it's remission, it's independence, it's life. If this revealed how AI is quietly shifting healthcare from reaction to prevention, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes early insight should be a right, not a privilege. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a healthier, more equitable future. What if your treatment plan wasn't based on population averages, but on you? Your genes, your lifestyle, your tumor's unique biology, even your microbiome. Precision medicine is no longer a promise. AI is making it routine. By integrating genomics, proteomics, EHRs, wearables, and real world behavior, models now predict how you will respond to drug A versus drug B before the first pill is taken. In oncology, AI matches tumor mutation profiles to clinical trial data, identifying targeted therapies that shrink tumors in patients who'd been deemed treatment resistant. For chronic conditions, dynamic dosing is emerging. In diabetes, closed loop systems don't just react to glucose spikes, they anticipate them using meal logs, activity, stress markers, and sleep data, adjusting insulin proactively. One trial showed 37% fewer hypoglycemic events using AI driven personalization over standard algorithms. Mental health is transforming too. NLP analyzes therapy transcripts and voice patterns over time, helping clinicians tailor CBT techniques to what actually moves the needle for that individual, not what works on average. This patient responds to behavioral activation, not cognitive restructuring. Insights that used to take months now surface in weeks. Critically, AI doesn't dictate, it simulates. Asterisk, if we choose option X, here's the predicted outcome curve for this patient, based on 12 similar cases. Asterisk, clinicians see the evidence, weigh values, and decide, keeping human judgment at the center. And equity? Federated learning lets rural clinics contribute to models without sharing data. So precision medicine isn't just for elite hospitals. A farmer in Kenya and a teacher in Chicago can both benefit from collective intelligence tailored to their context. This isn't about bespoke care for the few. It's about right care for the right person at the right time, scaled. Because medicine shouldn't be one size fits all, it should fit you. If this revealed how AI is turning personalized from buzzword to bedside reality, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes healing should be as unique as the person receiving it. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a more precise, equitable, and human future. What if the next life saving drug didn't take 10 years and $2.6 billion to reach patients, but was designed, validated, and ready for trials in under a year? AI is compressing the most grueling phase of medicine, drug discovery. Traditional methods relied on trial, error, and luck, screening millions of compounds, only to fail in late stage trials 90% of the time. Now, generative AI models design novel molecules from scratch, optimizing for potency, safety, and synthesizability, asterisk before a single lab test star. One startup generated a fibrosis drug candidate in 21 days. It entered phase 1 trials 18 months later. But it's not just creation, it's prediction. AI simulates how a molecule binds to a target protein, how it's metabolized, even its potential off target effects, using physics informed deep learning. This slashes failed experiments and animal testing. Models trained on failed trial data now flag high risk candidates early. Asterisk, this compound looks promising, but 92% of similar structures caused liver toxicity in phase 2. Asterisk, clinical trials are transforming too. AI matches patients to studies using real world notes, not just coded diagnoses, boosting recruitment speed by 3 to 5 times. Adaptive trial designs use live data to adjust dosing or endpoints mid study, increasing success odds. And for rare diseases, AI mines global EHRs and research to find hidden patient clusters, turning orphan conditions into viable targets. One gene therapy for an ultra rare metabolic disorder was fast tracked after AI identified 147 undiagnosed cases across 12 countries. Critically, the best platforms are collaborative. Scientists guide the AI's creativity, constrain its chemistry rules, and validate outputs in wet labs, keeping human expertise central. This isn't automation, it's accelerated empathy, turning decades of waiting into months of hope for patients with no time to lose. If this reshaped how you see drug discovery, not as a bottleneck, but as a frontier of AI augmented compassion, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes science should move at the speed of need. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a healthier, more hopeful future. What if your doctor could spot danger not during a rushed clinic visit, but from the rhythm of your sleep, the steadiness of your walk, the silence between your words. AI powered remote monitoring is turning passive data into proactive care. Wearables no longer just count steps, they detect subtle deviations, a 7% drop in nighttime oxygen saturation, a slight increase in gait asymmetry, or irregular voice tremor during a weekly video check in. One heart failure program reduced 30-day readmissions by 44% by flagging fluid retention before symptoms worsened, using weight trends, activity decline, and voice analysis. Telemedicine, supercharged by AI, is evolving beyond video calls. Real time NLP transcribes visits, structures notes, and surfaces critical gaps. Asterisk, patient mentioned chest pain on exertion, but no cardiac workup documented. Asterisk, computer vision analyzes facial cues, pallor, eye movement, microexpressions to support mental health assessments or pain evaluation, especially when patients struggle to articulate. For rural or aging populations, this is transformative. A diabetic patient in Montana sends retinal images via smartphone, AI triages urgency, and a specialist reviews only high risk cases. An elderly woman's smart speaker detects a fall, confirms consciousness via voice, and alerts her care team, all without wearing a device. Crucially, the best systems prioritize context, not just alerts. Instead of bombarding clinicians with false positives, AI correlates signals. Asterisk, increased resting heart rate plus decreased HRV plus skipped medications 82% risk of decompensation in 72 hours. Asterisk, nurses get prioritized, actionable insights, not noise. And privacy? On device processing ensures sensitive biometrics never leave the home. Federated learning improves models globally without centralizing personal data. This isn't about replacing the human touch, it's about extending it continuously, compassionately, and across any distance. Because care shouldn't wait for an appointment, it should meet you where you are before crisis strikes. If this revealed how AI is making healthcare not just remote, but relentlessly attentive, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes healing shouldn't depend on geography. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a more connected, equitable future. What if the biggest barrier to better healthcare wasn't science or access, but paperwork? Every year, U.S. physicians spend nearly 2 hours on admin for every 1 hour of patient care. AI is finally cutting that burden, not with clunky bots, but with intelligent, context aware automation. Modern systems don't just transcribe, they understand. AI listens to a patient visit, then drafts a structured clinical note, pulling symptoms, assessments, and plans into the right EHR fields, complete with ICD, TIN codes, and prior authorization language. One hospital reduced documentation time by 76%, giving doctors back 3+ hours daily. Scheduling? AI now handles the chaos, checking real time provider availability, insurance eligibility, facility resources, and even patient preferences. No show rates drop 30% with smart reminders that adapt tone, gentle nudge for routine visits, urgent alert for pre op labs. Prior authorizations, the notorious bottleneck, used to take days. Now, AI scans records, autofills forms, predicts denial risks, and resubmits with corrections. One health system cut approval time from 72 hours to under 90 minutes. Behind the scenes, NLP reconciles mismatched data, linking MI in a note to myocardial infarction and billing, or spotting duplicate tests ordered by different specialists. This reduces claim denials and audit risk. Critically, the best tools augment, not replace. Staff review, edit, and approve. AI just handles the heavy lifting. And because workflows stay in existing systems, adoption is seamless. This isn't about cost cutting, it's about care restoring. When nurses spend less time chasing faxes and more time at the bedside, when doctors reclaim evenings with their families, burnout declines, empathy rises, and errors fall. Because healing doesn't happen in paperwork, it happens in presence. If this revealed how AI is quietly giving time, the most precious resource in medicine, back to healers, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes technology should serve people, not paperwork. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a more humane, sustainable future. What if a public health team could stop an outbreak before the first hospital bed fills, or prevent a wave of heart attacks by quietly reaching at risk neighbors weeks in advance? Predictive analytics is turning population health from reactive crisis management to proactive care orchestration. By fusing EHRs, claims, social determinants, and even anonymized mobility data, AI models now identify high risk cohorts with startling precision, not just who will get sick, but why and what might help. One city reduced ER visits for asthma by 28% by targeting home visits to households in hypollution zones with mold risk, flagged by combining weather, housing records, and prior admissions. Another health system cut diabetic complications by 34% by identifying patients likely to skip meds, not due to cost, but transportation gaps, then deploying ride vouchers before HbA1c spiked. Crucially, modern systems prioritize actionability and equity. Instead of just scoring risk, they suggest interventions. Patient X, high readmission risk. Root cause, food insecurity. Suggested, connect to SNAP plus meal delivery. Bias detection layers audit models for disparities, ensuring zip code doesn't override biology. Real time surveillance adds urgency. NLP scans ER chief complaints, pharmacy fills, and school absenteeism reports, detecting flu surges 10 to 14 days faster than traditional reporting. During heat waves, predictive models alert community centers to proactively check on isolated elders, reducing heat stroke admissions by up to 41% in pilot zones. And privacy? Federated learning lets hospitals collaborate on models without sharing raw data. Differential privacy adds statistical noise to outputs, so insights are robust, but individuals remain anonymous. This isn't surveillance, it's solidarity, using collective intelligence to protect the most vulnerable before harm occurs. Because the best healthcare system isn't the one that treats the most illness, it's the one that prevents it quietly, fairly, and at scale. If this reshaped how you see public health, not as bureaucracy, but as AI augmented compassion, please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes communities deserve foresight, not just first aid. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a healthier, more just future. What if the most comforting voice in your healthcare journey wasn't on hold, but waiting patiently at 2 a.m., ready to listen, guide, and escalate, only when needed? Today's virtual health assistants are light years beyond scripted bots. Powered by multimodal AI, they understand context, tone, and nuance, and know their limits. A diabetic patient texts, "My foot feels warm and a little red. Should I worry?" The assistant doesn't just list symptoms. It asks clarifying questions, checks their last glucose and HbA1c, cross references medication side effects, and, crucially, flags possible cellulitis. Given your neuropathy history, please upload a photo or connect to a nurse now. They're proactive, not passive. After surgery, an AI assistant gently checks in. "How's your pain today?" On a scale of 1 to 10. Any swelling. If responses trend concerning, it alerts the care team before complications escalate. For chronic conditions, it adapts, reminding one patient to take meds with food, another to avoid sun due to photosensitivity, based on their regimen, not generic advice. Mental health support is especially transformative. Voice analyzed check ins detect rising anxiety through speech patterns. Chatbots deliver evidence based CBT exercises, not as replacements for therapy, but as bridges between sessions. One VA program reduced crisis calls by 22% using AI that recognized escalating language and routed veterans to human support in real time. Critically, the best systems are transparent. "I'm an AI. For chest pain, I'll connect you to a clinician immediately." No deception, no overreach, just reliable, scalable support, freeing human staff for high touch, high complexity care. This isn't about replacing empathy, it's about extending it 24/7 without fatigue, judgment, or wait times. Because sometimes healing begins with being heard, even if it's by a machine that knows when to call a human. If this revealed how virtual assistants are becoming trusted, tireless members of the care team. Please subscribe, like, and share with someone who believes technology should meet people where they are, with patience, precision, and care. Tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos on innovation, AI, and the real world tools building a more accessible, compassionate future.